All right, let's get this started. Hi, I'm your host, Angela Cross. All right, let's get this started. Hi, I'm your host, Angela Cross of Fierce Fearless Sisterhood, a Facebook community of women who uplift one another, who encourage one another, and really cheer each other on our goals and our dreams, family, faith, all of the above. It's your sister next door. So today we have Erin Cross with us. Yes, she is my sister. She's an amazing woman of God, and she is the founder and CEO of The Key Factor. She is an author, children's book author. She is a business coach. So I'm going to let her give a little bit more detail about herself. Welcome, Erin. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, sis, thanks for having me. As my sister mentioned, my name is Erin Cross. I am a author, business coach, ed techie. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's educational technology. And I love diving into curriculum, creating activities, creating resources, educational tools for people to learn. So, and whether you're doing corporate training or creating programmatic work for a nonprofit, or simply just creating lesson plans in your classroom as a teacher, I am your girl. So that is who I am. I have two businesses. One is the Key Factor, and that is a coaching business and consultant agency where I help people of faith create educational products so that they can ultimately create additional income for their 9 to 5 and maybe even leave the 9 to 5. So I've been helpful to others doing that. I also own Beatrice and the Beat. It is a music educational curriculum, and we do online learning activities and different music lessons where we communicate and educate others or children pre-K through 5th grade on musical elements and how to read music and become music literate. So
Oh, I love that. You have so much going on, such a wealth of knowledge and experience. And I just think that is great. So, one of the amazing things that we're here to talk about today is goal setting. And as we discussed previously, planning with a purpose. And so, as we're coming to the end of one year, 2022, and approaching another year, 2023, can you tell us a little bit why goal setting is really important?
goal setting is important because without having a dream, without having something that you're working towards, you're simply existing in life. You need goals to be able to live. And those goals can vary because it's subjective, it changes from person to person. So,
Right.
goals could be losing weight, goals could be writing a book, goals could be creating and building a family, goals could be doing some spring cleaning. They can be short term and long term, but without having something that you're working towards, something that you're giving yourself towards, many will believe that you're simply existing rather than living. And a goal could be creating the life that you love, whether it's a life of leisure or a life full of service. So,
Yeah, I totally agree. Especially when you say creating the life that you love. That's one of my, taglines is creating the life that you want. I believe that, there are things that happen to us, but overall life just doesn't happen to us. Our life is usually a response or a result to, so many
right,
choices that we've made. And so I just really believe, like you said, whether it's okay, this year I'm going to get serious about my health, or this year I'm going to get serious about my dating life because I really want to, settle down. I want a family.
that's right.
This year I'm going to buy a home. All of these things, it just doesn't happen. You have to
Right,
really get your mindset right. You really have to say, okay, what action steps am I doing?
exactly.
Am I going out searching for it? Am I, if I'm buying a home, am I getting my savings together? Just so many action steps that we have to really take seriously to make certain things happen to create the life that we want. So I love that you said that.
Yes. And
What about planning with a purpose? I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, I wanted to talk about uh, goals in the sense of vision. And when we're talking about creating the life that
Mm,
you want, that life doesn't happen or unfold all at once. I mean, yes, you may have things happen at the same time, but that life is a process. And so
yes.
you may start out with this overarching goal, but then you're breaking it down into chunks and doing vision casting and setting phases to that goal so that you can move from point A to point B.
Right.
So when
Right.
you're thinking about goals, two things make goals happen: a plan and action. And so you've got to
Yes.
put those systems into place so that you can ultimately reach your goal.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that aligns with what we speak here, Fierce Fearless Sisterhood. Is like faith without works is dead. So having a plan means that you have faith. You're believing and hoping for something to happen. And then your plan, your action step is your works putting in with that. I really believe it's important for us to partner with God to, walk out what it is that he's purposed for us to do, what it is that we have desired in our hearts to
Right.
do. So I really love that.
Right.
Absolutely. So when people see a virtual vision board, you're going to put together a virtual vision board party. First, I want you to tell us about that. And then for people who don't know, explain what a vision board is.
Well, the virtual vision board party is something that's going to happen online. So we're going to, instead of meeting in person, we're all going to meet online, but we're actually going to create a digital vision board. Now, vision simply means being able to see, being able to see.
Yeah.
And research has shown that when you are intentional about what you are wanting to happen in your life, that you keep it before you. And so that's why vision boards work. They work because you're
Yeah.
constantly seeing the end goal in mind. And your mind has this funny thing about it, according to Dr. Tara Schwartz. Your mind has this thing about it where it cannot basically distinguish images between words, and it assigns a
Mm.
higher value to images than it does to words on a to-do list. So you can simply make a list
Wow.
of the things that you want to accomplish, but your brain assigns higher value to what you can
Mhm.
see. And so that's why it's important to
I think
have.
this, let me pause you real quick because I mean, we already see that in our world,
Yeah,
social media, I mean, Instagram,
yeah,
TikTok, we're seeing all of these things. And that's why,
yeah,
it hooks us in. It's like, I want that, for my
yeah,
life. And so I just think that like scientifically, there's that fact, just kind of putting
right,
that theory into play that we have to see it.
right,
I love that.
right. And looking at images on a vision board preps your brain to receive it. So,
Yeah.
you know, all those opportunities that you may have thought, oh, that'd be cool to do this. It'd be great to do this. It'd be cool to achieve this. Unless you are actively putting it in an image in front of your face every
Mhm.
day and night,
Yeah.
because the brain is more susceptible to or more easily influenced right before you fall asleep. So if you look at it in the morning when you wake up,
Mm.
and if you look at it before you go to bed, you're
Okay.
going to have it. And the beautiful thing is, these vision boards are going to live not on your wall, but they're going to live in a place that I will tell you in the vision board party that you will see it day in and day out, whether you're at home, whether you're at
That's one of
work.
the things. Yeah. That's one of
So,
the things that I love about it. I've been seeing people do that where they collect all these images, all these quotes. And because, back in, well, I don't want to say back in the day, but prior to a digital, we would tear out magazines, try to find these images. But now there's so many, millions
right,
of images that we can apply. And then as soon as you open up your laptop or iPad, whatever have you, it's right there in your face, reminding you of what it is that you're striving for. And I just really love the
right,
idea of that. Does anybody have to have any type of special technology? What all could work for this?
the best and easiest way to create these are on Canva. So once individuals register, they're going to receive a checklist, and they're going to
Okay.
have to fill out certain things, and then they're going to be asked to register for an account on Canva. Canva is free, and you can access different elements to create your vision board. You can do editing. Do not be afraid of technology. When I tell you that it is so easy, I could pull my 7-year-old nephew to create a vision board, and he would probably rock it out because just the way his brain thinks. So don't think that you're going to be overwhelmed. All I would say is come to the event with a willing heart, an open mind, and be patient with yourself. I'm going to be patient with you, but I want you to be patient with yourself and start thinking about the future. I also want to say that when we are talking about vision, you should probably sit and think about what you're wanting, realistically wanting to happen. I remember years ago, we had a little storefront church, the meeting place, the first meeting place church. And my mother, she was always talking about faith. And she said, write out the things that you want God to do for you this year.
Yeah.
And this was my first encounter with vision casting. And I knew I was taking a hiatus on school. I left Texas Wesleyan. I was attending Hill College, working as a 911 dispatcher. And I was trying to get back into school at UTA. And I didn't have a vehicle. There was just all these things. And so I said, Lord, these are the things that I really desire. And it was those two things. I want to get back in school and I want a vehicle. Lo and behold, before that year ended, I had paid off all of my outstanding debt to Texas Wesleyan. So that I could get back in school at UTA. And my coworker at Johnson County Sheriff's Office sold me a vehicle because her and her husband were wanting to gift, but kind of make a little money from it. Gift a vehicle to either a college student or a single mom. She sold the car to me for $365.
Wow.
And I was like,
wow, I didn't even know it was that much. Wow, that's awesome.
That vehicle lasts me maybe about 2 years, but it happened. It happened.
Yeah.
And I think part of that, which is one of the key things that has to be in your heart and your mind, the plan and the actions, those are the outer work. The inner work of creating a vision board is faith, believing and accepting the truth that whatever you put on this board, it is going to happen. You don't have to have the details. You just have to have the belief that what you are putting on your vision board is true. And this is why some vision boards work and some don't. People create these outlandish boards or elaborate boards, I'll say that instead, where they're living in a mansion, they're driving a Rolls Royce while they're working a 9-to-5 that salary does not allow for that lifestyle. And they don't have a plan in place or action steps. You have to create these. What makes vision boards successful for me, when I stopped taking those goals that were so far out and almost defeating to look at, I started taking them and going year by year. My 10-year goal may be to live in a mansion, but my 1-year goal is to start a business, to start creating income that is going to ultimately get me there. And so instead of vision casting for 2055, we are going to be laser focused in this virtual vision board party and focus on 2023 because we're establishing the foundation for what is going to happen in 2030. And we're
one of the things that I love is even for me, like I'm giving like, from my personal perspective and my goals, I was, listening to different podcasts, and one of the podcasts, this girl was saying that what really helped her stay disciplined, because, everyone's coming upon the, like, this month, new year, new me, New Year's resolution, and, falling off come February or March. And so I loved how she was saying that you don't really realize, like, it's really a mindset first, because you really don't realize how sometimes you really don't believe, you're saying belief in action, but sometimes we really don't believe that we deserve this thing, and she was saying that she had to tell herself, like, she started affirming, I honor myself to become the person that I really want to be. I honor myself enough to make the choices to honor my body, whether it's, for a health goal. I honor myself enough to save the money, to work on my credit, to discipline my spending, because I deserve the home for my family that I want to live in. I honor myself enough. And so that just really hit me, because it's like, for example, I want to lose a few pounds. And I remember, that 5, and this was just yesterday, I'm on a holiday vacation, but I set my alarm, for 5:30, 6 a.m. And I was just sitting there like I could easily sleep in. And then I just remembered, no, I honor myself enough. I deserve to, look the way I want to look, to feel the way I want to feel. I don't want certain, illnesses to come on as I get older and things of that nature. And so just really having that belief, anyone watching, be able to know to, like, honor yourself enough. We talk a lot about self-care, mental health, but you have to really believe that, like, you deserve that is God's will for your life, to be your best self. And so taking that idea, and like you said, with the vision board, it's like, yeah, let me get up. What?
Right.
Laying in the bed isn't going to help me get there. Let me get up. So it was like, after I had that thought, just jumping up and was just like, yes, like, no, I deserve more than this, but I have to put in the work to do it.
Right. And part of honoring yourself is honoring who you're going to put around you. Because sometimes we say, this is my accountability partner, but that person is not holding our feet to the fire for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, girl, I feel
like, girl, it's all right. Girl, let's go and have these cupcakes. Girl, it's okay. Like, no.
I need somebody to be like, no, this is not the Erin Cross that we know. You need to get up.
Get out of the donut store.
And if you don't,
shoes back.
Right. Right. But who you surround yourself with, that is who you're going to become. And,
yes,
we grew up in the same household.
Right.
And our mother was very much like, see the world, get a career, do this before you start, having kids. But I did have another family member tell me, don't worry about work. Find you a husband who's going to tell you don't have to work. And I just, that just, like, it made me cringe, because that's just not by nature who I am. I am naturally a worker. But
why are we thinking so small?
Right. Well, it's not necessarily small, but different, because that lifestyle works for some people. For who I am as a person, that does not work for me, because I'm always going to come up with an idea to do something. I have millions of ideas.
Well, I just believe that it shouldn't work for everybody, just because you're more than that. You're more than just a wife. It doesn't negate the fact that, like, most people want a spouse. That's wonderful.
Right.
I do like it. What I'm saying is small in the thinking of that, like, that should be your only goal. Like, no, like, you have a purpose, just like your spouse will have a purpose. You have a purpose that God has called you to do, more than just being a wife, more than just being a mother, to accomplish here on this earth, and so that's what I was meaning by that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's
like,
true.
don't let that be your only thing.
It's true. We have all these intersections. And I know that
Right.
my nature is to put my hand to something. You know, I was talking to, I think I was in our sister chat, and I was telling y'all how dudes get on my nerves because they sit there talking about, I want a virtuous woman, I want a virtuous woman. But when they meet someone who is that, because the virtuous woman was not a woman who ate the bread of idleness. She was constantly putting her hand to the
Right.
plow and doing work. But then when they meet someone who's like that, they're like, you always busy. You doing too much. And it's like, then you really don't know what a virtuous woman is.
Yes, it
Because
said that she rose early to, she considered a field and bought it. Man, that's real estate. It said that she went out and bought to the merchants to buy for even her
commerce.
handmaidens. That means she had a maid. Like, she had a whole estate that she was running. And men just want to look at, not that we're all male bashing, but a lot of times people want to say, like, this virtuous woman is meek and she's timid and she's humble and no, this woman was a businesswoman. She ran her children. It said that even her husband stood at the gates and was proud of her and spoke of her. So, I mean, he, recognized the value in her. And that's why she was so valuable.
Right.
She was an equal partner in this. And yes, a lot of people's mindset just think that means like, she's so meek and timid and submissive. It's like, no, this woman was 100% equal partner with operating in her own purpose, within the household. And I love that you pointed that out.
And that's what, guiding back to the vision board, what are you going to put your hand to this year? You have to be mindful of that. We are 8 days before the end of the year. My prayer for all that are going to watch this is that the Holy Spirit will download, because it doesn't take long. You already know what your inclinations are. You already know what's in your heart. The Holy Spirit can open the eyes of your understanding. That is something that I say all the time. So begin to get those scriptures, those affirming words, those confessions. Start creating the soil of belief in your heart for what you want to see. It's not impossible. The same faith that it takes for you to get a job making 6 figures or however much you want to make is the same faith it takes for you to build a business that's going to generate 6 figures within the same year. The same faith that it's going to take for you to believe God to pay your light bill is the same faith that it takes for that to happen.
Just a mustard seed. Absolutely.
No difference. So start painting it in your mind that it can happen. In 2010, I was over 280 pounds, and I had always wanted to be a runner. I would start for the first 3 months, and then it was like a cycle. Every year I would start for 3 months, I would go and I would run, but I would not finish. Like something would happen and I would stop. And so I moved to Chicago in 2009. There was a nutrition ministry at the church that I was going to. And they said, start seeing it in your mind that you're a runner. And so I started saying, I'm an avid runner. I run miles and miles and miles. I would sit, and it was almost like a meditation practice. I would see myself running the size that I was. And I would set my timer for like 3 minutes. Because let me tell y'all, the way my mind was trying to focus on something for just a minute straight, that was a challenge. But I built myself up 15 minutes of just seeing myself running. And then it took on the faith that God can allow this to happen. This is going to happen in my life. And I kept saying, I'm an avid runner. I run miles and miles and miles. I'm an avid runner. I run miles and miles and miles. My actions, they gave a call for those who want to join the Kingdom Running Club. And we were going to start in February.
I remember that.
We were going to sign up for the marathon, the Chicago Marathon. And I was like, wasn't
it like
miles and miles?
How many miles was it?
26.
How many miles was it? 20, y'all. When Erin said, I was like, oh my God, you really gonna do this? But I mean, I remember for a year, she got running shoes. She was up every day running, like rain, sleet, or snow. And I was amazed. I was amazed.
Our first run was a mile in February. in snow in Chicago. And so I was like,
Ooh.
I've run in rain, I run in snow. I have no excuse to just not, in the heat I ran.
Yes.
But they took us, we were a part of a club. So every Saturday we met. A friend of mine and her dad, they even wanted to do it. My friend's dad was a cancer survivor and he had a hip replacement.
Wow.
And he finished the marathon before me and he was 60-something years old. But we all finished. When October came, we ran that race and we all finished. But each week we were putting our feet to our faith. We knew
Yes,
we
I
were
love
going to be runners. We knew we were going to be marathon finishers. In our minds, we would sit and see the miles because when you're on the run course and when you're on the course, they mark the mileage. So I saw myself passing mile marker 1, then mile marker 2, then mile
Mm.
marker 3, then mile marker. When I passed that 26.2 and crossed that finish line, I was already crying before the race started.
Oh, wow.
So
Because you was in
that
pain? No, I'm
word,
kidding.
girl, that word sat in my spirit so
Mhm.
much that I was already celebrating finishing. And then I went
You
back
know what?
into
I
my
even want to like point out how I want to pause real quick before you get to like finishing, because I remember you telling us that you even started to get runner's feet, where your feet were swollen, where you had blisters, and I
lost
remember like
toenails.
you did
They grew
not
back.
stop,
So I lost
Oh wow, yeah, lost a toenail. Like that's a common thing for runner's feet. So it's like, think about that. When like anyone watching, I really want you guys to think about that, because that correlates over to like, oh, I had this setback. Oh, this emergency popped up. And we get so even and I've been a victim to that, we sit there and be like, you know what, just forget the whole thing. We cancel the whole goal, we cancel the whole plan. And it's like, you sat there and said, no, even with blisters, I'm still running. Even a missing toenail, I'm still running. Like, some people be like, I'm not losing a toenail behind this goal. Like, I'm trying to keep my pedicure tight. Yeah.
Right. But
Right. Yeah, of course they grow
bring
back.
up
But
two
that's what I'm
things.
saying. Like, that is serious grit. That is serious perseverance that a lot of people won't put up with. And again, that goes back to goals, because it's like, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you willing to do, to keep going no matter what? And a lot of these things are distractions that are built to stop you, to see if you really are going to go with it. So I just wanted to point that out.
God will meet you at your point of faith. Here's two major things that happened to me. We were running, and let me tell y'all, this running group, there was this lady who was a military. She had done triathlons, ultra marathons. Like, she used to be in the military, and Lord, and her name was, well, I won't tell her name, but when she saw us walking, she was like, this ain't the Kingdom Walking Club, it's the Kingdom Running Club. And so they would tell us to start at one place on Lakeshore Drive and run to another place. They would never tell us how far we were running. But there was one day we were running and my knee popped and it hurt.
Ooh.
And I was like in tears because it hurt so bad. And she was like, why are you stopping? What's wrong? And I was just like, you sound like grandson. But I told her what happened. And she said, what's your scriptures that you're standing on? Because they told us to have scriptures.
Wow.
Now, this is what's going to happen with your vision board, because the word that you stand on matters. I had chose some scripture because I was like, I'm going to be like a gazelle. I'm running fast. I'm leaping over walls. So I chose that scripture. And I was like, holding my knee, and I go, I run like a gazelle. She goes,
I love that she held you accountable, though. I love that she held you accountable.
She was like, no. Yeah. She said, say this. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not get weary. They shall walk and not faint. And she said, say it and keep going. And I was like, and so I'm thinking she's going to go ahead and I can keep going while she's with me. She was like, I'm going to be right here with you. And I was like, they that wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength. They shall mount up on wings. And
I love it.
She was like, now start running. And I was like,
what you
"You gonna
profess,
keep
yeah,
saying it.
matters.
They that wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength." And I kid you not, every bit of pain that was shooting from my knee up and down was gone within 10 minutes. And I
Wow.
finished that and I ran to where I was supposed to go and all the way back. And that was 8 miles. God will
Wow.
meet you at your point of faith. In your vision casting, you are going to have to put your hand to the plow. You're going to have to do certain actions. And some of
Yes,
those
there are things
actions
that he won't do for us. We have to do
fire.
it. We
Right.
partner with him to get it done. You know, he's
Right.
going to do the supernatural, but we're part of the natural. Yes.
And it's not until you put your natural in, your skin in the game, that he can do the super. We all want God to, we want to sit back and say, well, I'm
Yes.
waiting on the Lord. He's waiting on you.
Mhm.
You have the same
Mhm.
authority, the same faith, the same power, the same love,
Mhm.
the same ability to receive and manifest that Jesus Christ has, because as he is, so are we in the world. So what are you going to do? You need to put your feet to the faith. Another thing that happened on the course, when we ran the 21 miles, it was pouring down raining and I was on my way back. I didn't realize it was 21 miles at the time because they take you all the way to 23 miles so that you can be prepped for 26. And it was raining and my feet were hurting so bad. I stopped to see what was going on with my foot. When I stopped and took off my shoe and sock, skin came off on my sock because my feet were completely blistered. And so I was walking slowly back and I didn't get back till late. I was completely drenched and they were like, "What happened?" And I told them I was scared. I was like, "This is right before the marathon. I'm not going to be ready in time." The lady said, the lady who was over it, I forgot her name, but she said, "I want you to say by his stripes I am healed. And I want you to take a bath in Epsom salt and tea tree oil." And I was like, you know,
You're like, "Girl, where my skin? My skin is gone."
Girl, my skin, I have never seen nothing like that. My skin is on my sock. But
Do you not see my skin? Do you not see my skin?
I can't even say my head. But I did that. And I kid you not. I freaking kid you not. I didn't challenge what she told me to say. I didn't, even though I had doubt in my mind, I still kept the word of faith on my lips. And I kept saying, by his stripes, I'm healed. I did not come this far to quit. 2 days, 2 days, my skin was fine.
Wow.
2 days. It was as if I had not even had a blister or the peel. And that, going through that whole process made me feel like invincible. Because, and it's not necessarily that I went through the marathon process, but when you're going for any dream, any goal, if you will just not crack under the point of pressure, if you will just continue to keep the word of faith in your lips, faith is not an emotion. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is not anything that, you know, it is the word. It is the belief in your mind. And even if you are struggling with the belief in your mind, still keep it on your lips. You don't have to believe something in your head to say something.
Yeah.
You know, and if you are not in a place where you can say it, then just keep your mouth shut. If people ask you about it, just be like, "It's going." And that's sometimes where I was. They're like, "How's that running going?" And I'm like, "It's going," because I really had to.
It's going. It hasn't stopped. I haven't quit.
Right. But by the end
it's
of that process, I was running 6 days a week, 5 miles a day. By the end of that process. And so when you're going and doing your vision board and you're thinking about all the things that you want God to accomplish for you, think about this. Who am I going to be after the process? Because that's who you need to get in your mind. You need to have a vision of that person. It doesn't have to be a full, complete, clear vision, because as you go, God's going to add. But you need to
Mm-hmm.
ask yourself, who am I going to be? How am I going to move about on this earth? Because let me tell you, Erin with money moves different than Erin without money. Erin,
I think that goes for all of us.
I mean, but you know, like you need to
Yeah.
start getting acquainted with that person. You know,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
still,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to be someone who's a giver? You know, what are some things that you can
Yeah.
start giving now? And it doesn't have to be money, it could be your time, your resources,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but
And
start
get
putting
comfortable with being uncomfortable. We have to get
that.
comfortable
Yeah,
with being uncomfortable. It's enough in our comfort zones, enough of being in our comfort zones. We have to, you're not going to accomplish things staying in your comfort zone.
right.
So, yeah.
Right. And that when I think of that, I always think of Peter walking on water. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
was good. He stepped out of the boat. That for me would be a tremendous uncomfortable zone. Um, but as long as he kept his eyes on God, as long as he kept
Mm-hmm.
his focus
Mm-hmm.
on God, he was
Mm-hmm.
fine. When he started to allow doubt, fear, and worry to come in, that's when he began to sink. But we always downplay the fact that for those few moments, Peter walked on water. He walked.
Yeah.
So, whatever, I want you to begin to think in your mind what you want to
Love
happen, but
this.
I also want you to
Mm-hmm.
leave
Mm-hmm.
room for God,
Mm-hmm.
because God's going to come
Leave
in
room for
and meet
God.
you at your point of belief. He's going to stretch you. The enemy might try to challenge you, but I want you to stay strong. And so when you're doing the vision boards, put in, when you're starting to think about what you want to happen, put in the systems in place for when you start feeling doubt, fear, worry, and unbelief. What are you going to
Mm-hmm.
do? Are you going
Mm-hmm.
to combat that with praise and worship music? Are you going to combat that with thanking God? Are you going to combat that by praying? Are you going to combat that
I
by
love that.
having an accountability partner that can
Yeah,
reiterate to you what your goals and what your visions are? You have to have
that's
those
good.
systems in for when something goes
Mm-hmm.
awry, because you're going to be challenged, but that's still
Mm-hmm.
not going to stop you from gaining the victory.
Yeah,
So,
I love that. Before we go back into the logistics of your virtual party, I'm hearing the Lord say, "Stop sitting." So for anyone who is watching this, the Lord is, here to tell us this: it's time to stop sitting on our gifts. There are gifts inside you. There are plans inside you. There are ideas inside you that He's given you. Some of us years ago. And the Lord is saying, stop sitting on it. It's time to get it moving. It is time to put a plan in place and get moving on these gifts, on these goals. There's a circle of influence that you are called, only you are called to touch, only you are called to bring change in this world. We all are held accountable for what we were put on this earth to do, whether we believe it or not. And so I just hear the Lord strongly just say, to tell you all, stop sitting, get up, get moving, make it, write your vision, make it plain, trust that God will meet you where you are, and He will bring the super to your natural. I mean, I have so many testimonies
yep.
of just, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm going to step out. And it ended up all like everything that I set my hands to do exceeded my expectation, exceeded what I originally planned, because God is always more vast, more greater than what we could ever dream or think. He is so waiting to be exceedingly and abundantly amazing in your life. And so stop
Right.
sitting, get up and get moving on that.
Right. I
Um,
would,
so
if I
let's
could,
get back to,
sorry, if I
yes,
could,
absolutely.
if you are looking for someone, if you don't have anyone in your life to hold you accountable, I would like to invite you to join the Key Factor. There's an accountability crew, and basically we check in. We check in, and you post what you are working on, what plans you've put in place. It's absolutely free, but just have someone hold you accountable. And then be willing to accept that they're going to ask you why you didn't or what stopped you
Right.
from accomplishing the task that you said, or what stopped you from breaking the
Mm-hmm.
promise to yourself. But if you need someone to hold
Mm-hmm.
you accountable, I'll post the link to the key factor in the comments, and we would love to have you, and just get some people around you that are going to help you manifest in 2023.
Yes, yes, that matters, you guys. It totally matters having people around you. I'm very grateful that, my immediate family are huge accountability partners, because we're all dreamers. We were raised to be that way, to, vastly step out on faith, and just, I mean, we are constantly just encouraging one another. But I also thank God that He's also have brought people into my life. And then there are also people who the enemy has sent into my life to get me distracted. And you have to have discernment to fade out of those situations as well. But it really matters, because what you're speaking, if you're around someone who's negative and they're like, girl, I don't see how you're going to do that. Well, why are you? I mean, maybe you should break, maybe you should give it a break. Maybe it's not the time. Maybe it's, if that is in your thought, they will eventually convince you to put it down. But if you're around someone that's like, nope, keep going. Okay, handle that situation, but keep going. You can do this, we'll figure it out. It is going to really affect, your mindset and you accomplishing your gifts. So definitely I would sign up to be a part of that. Erin is a big dreamer, like I said earlier, and she, she's always been an exhorter, an encourager. She's one of the biggest cheerleaders in my life. And so, Erin, so again, going back to the people will need, they can use what, a laptop, an iPad?
You can use a laptop, you can use your iPad, you can use your iPhone. If you want to download Canva, that's what we're going to be working in, and create your account, you can do so. I would encourage you to use your laptop or a desktop, just because the ease of use while you're listening to the workshop and the party, you're going to also be creating, and I'll be walking you through those things. And it's just easier to do that. If you want to play it on your phone while you're doing the work on your actual laptop, that's fine too. So you can just have those two screens for space. But it's going to be a fun time. We're going to be laughing. We're going to be listening to some music. Bring your best bottle of vino. I always work better with a nice libation. And we're also going to explore those. We're going to explore outside of our comfort zones, and we're going to be manifesting. By the end of 2023, there are going to be so many testimonies of things coming forth, things that happen throughout the year, that it's going to blow each of ours mind. I hope to meet back here December 23rd, 2023, which would be an awesome date, right? 12/23.
Right, 3/23.
To celebrate all of our wins. Because let me tell you, 2023, God has some amazing things for us. And He's going to.
And maybe this could be the beginning of a community where y'all have check-ins throughout the year, for everyone who attends. Let's check in and give updates. That would be awesome.
I do weekly check-ins. So, it's a safe space. And, sometimes in learning things and accomplishing things, we get frustrated. And it's okay to be frustrated, but still put your hand to the lip. And that's what you're going to find in the key factor. Someone who's going to hold you accountable, someone who's going to help you when you get frustrated and you want to cuss and you want to punch the wall, or you're trying to find this. You're also going to find a network, because trust me, there is someone that or that I know that's going to connect you to the resource to help you get whatever you're desiring accomplished.
Yes.
So it's going to happen, but you've got to start. You've got to start. So
right. Tell the people when it is, the time, how much it costs. We'll later be posting a link added to this live. So give us the logistics.
Okay, so it's going to be next, what is the 29th? It is next Thursday,
Okay.
12/29 at 7 p.m. is what I have. Let's see. I'm like, yes, at 7 p.m. We're going to go for about 90 minutes because there's some things I'm going to walk you through. But you're going to get, when you sign up, the cost is $5. When you sign up, you're going to get a worksheet. I want you to fill out that worksheet and checklist.
$5.
And we're going to get these things in motion. You got to put some skin in the game, and you're going to put some actual realistic actions to your goals. All right. So no goal is too great or too small. You just got to sign up and get it done.
Yeah. Go to www.thekeyfactor.org, www.thekeyfactor.org. We'll also put the link in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Erin, thank you so much for being a part of our sisterhood community and sharing your gifts with us and getting us motivated for the new year and getting us planned for the new year. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you later. See you on the 29th.
Yes,
Bye.
29th. Bye.